So the second exercise involves making a change to personnel because our field technician Misty quit and we want to log that in the toolbox, and also one of our instruments 001 was taken out of the field because it needed to be repaired. So we borrowed another instrument, basically just the same. Let's say we borrowed it from the TAM Center, and we put that in the field for the month, or we're not sure right now how long it's going to take. We hope it doesn't take more than a month to get our ozone instrument IN001 to be repaired. So I know that these are administrative type tasks, so I'm going to click Add or Modify Personnel Site and Sampler Information in the toolbox, and then it opens this up, and this is a time to click here for the help file, because I think what I'm going to do is go to Add Modify Personnel, and then you can see that this opens up to a new blank record, and first I say where is everybody, and then I see these navigation buttons at the bottom, so you can go back to the first record, which is just, think of it as a row in a table, and this is Misty's information, and then the second is Angelique's information. So what I suspect I'm going to do is go to this Misty record, type in Misty quit for a different job, and then change person active in project to no, but I want to make sure. So first of all, I'm going to read the SOP, and at the beginning of the SOP you notice there are is a little like table of contents with hyperlinks. We're going to add modify personnel, so I'm going to do control left click, and it takes me to the SOP that describes step by step what to do in this case. And you see step B, to modify personnel, use navigation buttons at the bottom to navigate through the different records until you find the staff member that you need to modify. So I'm going to follow those directions, which basically say yes. When you have a change, navigate to that person's record, type in comments if you want to. This is the only personnel change we're going to make. So we're going to click Save Personnel Data and Continue Data Entry. Actually, no, because we're going to continue data entry for samplers, not for personnel. So we're going to click Save Personnel Data and Exit Data Entry for this form. So we're going to click that, and that takes us one step back. Now the next step is to specify to the toolbox that instrument IN001 was sent for repair. So we're not adding a sampler yet, we're modifying existing sampler information right now. So we're going to click that, and it opens up this dialog box which shows us the different instruments that are already entered into the toolbox. Well, we know we're going to modify instrument 001, so we're going to click OK, and here we're going to say, alright, this is the information about this sampler. It shows where it is, what site, how long it's been there, and what pollutant it's monitoring for. But we're going to make modifications to it. So I'm going to be Angelique, and what has happened is we have removed it on April 1st, and one thing to note is that the toolbox is very flexible here. You can type in the word April 1st, 2006 if you want to, and it will recognize it as a date. Was the sampler moved to a new monitoring site in your AIR program? No, it wasn't. It was sent for repair. So we're going to say sent to manufacturer for repair. See logbook for more information. It wasn't moved to a new site, so we're not going to add that. And you can see the toolbox has already changed my April 1st to 4/1/2006. So we need to click one of these buttons at the bottom. This is the only sampler we're going to make changes to, so we don't need to continue making changes. we want to update this particular record and exit this form. If you decide that, oh no, this isn't exactly what I want, you can click this button too, exit form, without making any changes to sampler location. So we're going to click the middle button in this case, and that takes us back to the main switchboard. And now we have to now we say, okay, we've updated that, and now we are waiting for instrument 001 to get repaired, and we're also looking to hire a new field technician. Okay, so now I'm continuing on. Let's say that we've gotten a new instrument, and we're going to call it IN004, and we're going to use it in place of the one that's getting repaired. So what we need to do is log this in the toolbox. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to go to Add Modify Personnel, Modify Existing Sampler Information. Well, instrument, I don't have this instrument, I just got it, so I need to add it first. So I'm going to click on Exit Form, then I'm going to go back in and add this sampler as an instrument. So I have added instrument IN004. Now let's just say we got it in the mail the same day, April 1st. It's located at Site 1. It monitors for ozone, made by DeCB, and this is the model number, and I put in the comments that we've just borrowed this temporarily, and I put in my initials, and now this is the only sampler we need to add, so I'm going to say Save Sampler Data and Exit Data Entry. And now it's going to modify data in my table again. Remember, this adds both a row to the table sampler and a row to a table that has the history of all your samplers and where they were. And that takes us back one screen. Now, a month has passed, and we've gotten our IN001 back from repair, which is great. So now we want to swap them out, and we're going to put IN001 back in the field and ship IN004 back to the TAM Center where we borrowed it from. So first of all, we want to modify existing sampler information. So we click on this pink button, and it takes us to the list of samplers that are currently active, and what we're going to do is take this 004 and we're going to modify it because we're going to be taking it out of the field. So I'm going to click OK, and it takes us to this screen again where we tell the toolbox what we've done. We've removed it on the 30th, and it was not moved to a new site. We're going to say shipped back, and it was not moved to a new site, and we are ready to update the sampler location and exit the form, which takes us back to the main screen. But we have to put instrument 1 back into the field, so there's a button here. Look at the headings carefully. Return inactive samplers to the field. So, and there's this little screen tip that pops up there telling you what the buttons are. So we're going to click that, and the toolbox knows, well, there's only one sampler I know of that's not being used right now. It's not in the field. So it automatically populates this, and it says, oh, you're talking about 001? Yes. And we're going to put it back into the field on the 30th, and we're putting it where we monitor ozone, which is Site 1, and we're going to type in the comments that it was repaired and with our initials, and now we're going to activate the sampler and continue. And this is going to add one row to the sampler history table. And you notice that it just stays here at this same form because really I should have clicked Activate Sampler and Exit Form. But we're all finished here, and it's saying already it's saying, oh, what about instrument 004? So if I just try to get out of this and click the lower X, it takes us back to the main toolbox because we don't want to, the main switchboard, because we don't want to modify anything in that screen right now. So we finished doing these modifications, but I just want to check to make sure that we've got the right samplers in the field at the right sites. So I'm going to click on this top pink button, and I'm going to look at this site and sampler inventory report again. Click on it anywhere to zoom it, and it shows that instrument 1, yes, is at site 1, and it was placed again on the 30th. And the MET is being monitored at site 1. Instrument 1 was at site 1 from February 1st to April 1st, and instrument 4 was at site 1 from in the month of April. And we've got the comments with the comment 2 showing ship back to TAMS where we borrowed it from, and then everything is the same at site 2. We didn't change any of that. So that's actually a prelude to the last part of this assignment, which is to generate this report and email it to us. So again, we're in print preview, and this chunk here that says data is where we go if we want to export this as a Word or PDF. So we're going to go through that export process again, and we're going to browse to where we want our reports to be. And I've got a folder where I'm storing these reports. I'm going to say save. Okay. And I'm not going to save the export steps. So you notice I had one in there before from exercise 1. I'm copying over it because this is a new inventory report of what exists right now. And this is actually really useful to know about in your program. I use this report all the time, site and sampler inventory report, just to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. And that's the end of exercise 2.